Hi, this is Sarah Jackman. I am the writer of Sleeping with the Material World. I am going to tell you a little story about being single in the city of Toronto, Canada. So I'll get right into it. Basically, I was a supervisor at a restaurant that was in a 4-star hotel. So frequently, a lot of actors and celebrities would come in there to eat. And at this time, I was standing at the hostess stand. I was talking to one of the hostesses there, and a man came by, a dark man, and took off his headphones, and he really only talked to me for about 10 minutes, but ended up, he asked for my phone number right off the bat. I said, no way, I don't even know who you are, like, no. And then he talked to me for about 10 minutes and somehow was able to get me to give him his email. I honestly, and then after it happened, I was like, what the frig was that? Why did I give that guy my email? But didn't think anything of it. He said he was in town, but it was leaving that day and was going to be coming back in a couple months, and he really wanted to, hang out with me. So, whatever. I didn't think I thought, oh, whatever, the guy has my email, who cares? It's not a big deal. So, a few months went by, and then I received an email from this gentleman. And he said he was back in Toronto and that he wanted to have dinner with me. So I kind of debated, and then I was like, whatever, like, I guess I'll go see what it's about, kind of thing. Meet someone new. He was from England, but lived in LA. And I don't know, I was curious to see what he was about, and really, how was he able to get my phone number or email address, that quickly? I don't know how he was able to do it. So I was, a little intrigued. Anyway, so we went to dinner. We learned about each other. It was a nice dinner. I've never been there. I think it was at the Soho Club in Toronto. So it was fun. I had never been there. I think I only ate a salad or something because I had come from my martial arts class, which is Jeet Kune Do, and I was pretty hungry, but it was just like a tofu salad. So he told me that he was an actor. He had been in a few movies. I'm not going to name them. I'm not going to name who he is, because I don't need to, but he is sort of like a C or B list actor, I guess. So, okay, whatever. He said he had some things in the works. He was also a producer. He also taught acting classes in England when he was back home. And then, he said he was really interested in me. I told him that I was an actress at the time, and, that I was working on my career. I had just quit modeling. And that was sort of my focus then. So he thought that I would be perfect for a part in a movie that he was trying to get made. And so he was producing it, but he wanted to star in it as well as the lead role, which is kind of funny because he is very, very dark. And the role is to do with a mafia banker who is Italian. So it's actually based on this book. The banker, so it's branded The Mafia's Banker. It's a true story. It's by Luca Longobardi. It's actually a really great book. I did end up buying it and reading it because I thought I was under the impression that I had the part. Anyway, so I think he was here for about a month. So I started hanging out with him. And then one night he did invite me to his hotel room, and he said he had the contract with me. He basically promised me the part of the mafia banker's wife, who did drugs and was kind of all over the place. And it was funny because I actually dated someone who who was part of the mafia family was. And you know, this woman had drug issues, she had other issues, and I really resonated with this character, so I thought I would be perfect. The way he described this character was very much how, you know, I was in my 20s, which is when the book takes place as well. My wild, sort of crazy self. And so I thought I was perfect for this part. So, and he also made me think that I was as well. So yeah, he invited me back to his hotel room. He had the contract. It literally said Warner Brothers. He had a script printed out. And so he said he wanted to run some lines, he wanted to videotape it, and he wanted to bring it back to his production company in LA and see what they thought. And if they liked me as much as he did, then he would put me in his movie. So to keep in mind too, he didn't really come on to me per se, like insinuate that he wanted to date me or anything like that. I mean, he did say that he thought it was interesting, that kind of thing, but he wasn't really forthcoming about what his intentions were. So I stupidly went back to his hotel room. Yeah, as I said, he had the contract. He made me fill that out. He then had the lines. We went through the lines a few times. And then we had it. I mean, I'm pretty good with that. If you just do a reading, which just means that you read the lines back and forth over and over again, and then you actually memorize them very quickly. It's pretty fun. So we did that, and then he said, well, do you want to act out the scene? And so the scene is kind of them fighting a bit, and then they go into, you know, having sex. But I told him, like, I'm not doing a sex scene. Like, this is just an audition. You wouldn't do that in an audition. But I can do everything up until then. So we practiced the scene a few times. He did record it, and then he kept wanting to go further. And I kept telling him that A, we weren't on camera anymore once we moved on to the bed, and B, that it didn't make sense to me that we were acting out something that didn't need to be acted out, especially in an audition. So he got a little upset about that, which should have been my first clue to get the fuck out of there. But it wasn't, or it didn't take it that way, and so I stayed with him. And then he basically kind of manipulated me into, he was saying things like, well, I need to know that I'm going to be comfortable with you. You know, if we're going to be acting out these scenes, I need to know that you're comfortable with your body. And I said, buddy, like, I've been modeling for 16 years. I'm super comfortable with my naked body, completely, truly. So he kind of wanted me to prove that. And again, stupidly, I was like, okay, I can prove you that I'm okay with being naked in front of anyone. So, but I was still a little bit hesitant. So he decided that he was going to strip down, and this is in a hotel room, run down the hallway naked and run back, because he was saying that he also wasn't ashamed of his body. And if he was to do that, then I had to get naked in front of him. I don't know what I was thinking. So, oh yeah, and by the way too, he made it seem like it was a celebration that I had gotten the part. He was like, oh, like, I have some champagne, like, let's have some champagne, blah, blah, blah. So, I didn't drink the champagne, actually, but, anyway, so I did strip down, and I was standing in front of him naked, and I said, see, I'm not ashamed of my body. So I got changed, and then he wanted to keep acting out the scenes, and I said, you know what, listen, I'm really uncomfortable with this whole situation. It doesn't seem legit. I'm leaving. So I left. He got really upset and took it personally, followed me out, and then walked me all the way to a cab, and then I left. So then he said, you know, I am still interested. I am going to still submit you for this role, and we'll see how it goes. So didn't hear back from him for, I feel like, maybe a few weeks. And then I got an email saying, you know, that they weren't, I don't know, that either it wasn't happening or they went with someone else or something. And then he said, like, oh, he was going to be back in Toronto soon and he wanted to see me again. which he did contact me later on to tell me that he was back in Toronto, but I didn't respond because I thought the whole situation was such bullshit. So this man literally printed out a contract, got a script together, made up all these lies, basically to get me into bed. It didn't happen, but he tried really hard, and I was actually shocked that a man would go that far to sleep with someone. It's astounding to me. So that's one of the, so I didn't even know I was really, this is a dating story. I classify this as a dating story, but I didn't know I was on a date. And that happens to me sometimes. Men, because I am a nice person, men tend to take advantage of that and then pretend like we're friends, or they want to hang out with me for different reasons. And then, I find out halfway through the dinner, I'm like, okay, I'm actually on a date and thought I was going out with a friend, but this is an actual date. So it's happened a few times, which is hilarious to me. But anyways, so this I count as a dating story because in his mind, we were on a date and he was looking for more. But I was not, and was under the impression that he was interested in my talent rather than, or not even my talent, because he didn't get to see my talent until after we practiced the lines. But he definitely, I thought, had saw something in me, and therefore was going to work with me. I didn't know it was because he wanted to sleep with me, which is exactly what he wanted, even though he denied it the whole time. Even afterwards was, oh, I'm so insulted that you thought that I was trying to do all these things to sleep with you, and I can get whoever I want, and blah blah blah, and was really a huge dick about it. So anyways, that is my story. I hope you enjoyed it. I do recommend reading this book. It is very, very good. You can get it on Amazon. Yeah, so that's one of the stories. I'm going to be sending more local stories to you, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I enjoy looking back at it, but I didn't really enjoy it too much during that time. So thanks so much. Thanks for following us on Twitter, Facebook, and this blog. All the links and everything for Twitter and blog and Facebook are all below. And yeah, just thanks so much for watching and stopping in. Bye.